everyone! Welcome back to my Advent countdown, and today is December 3rd, which means it's time to reveal the third pattern in our countdown. And today's pattern is the Kuutar Pullover, and you can see me wearing it. I also have a second sample in another color here next to me. And you can get this pattern as well as all the other Kuutar designs. There's the Kuutar cardigan, we have socks, we have a Kuutar beanie, we have a Kuutar scarf, also a wrap cardigan, a top and a tee. There's a lot of Kuutar patterns in my webshop as well as on Ravelry, and all of those will be discounted minus 24% with the code Kuutar on Ravelry as well as on my webshop on sarinordal.com until the end of tomorrow, so that is December 4th, end of the day, Helsinki time. I will post links to the patterns below this video, and you can also check out the code. So the code was Kuutar, but if you want to check the spelling, I know Finnish words are always a bit hard to spell. We pronounce words very differently from English. But anyway, I will write everything below this video so you can easily find all the links and the discount code below this video, so you don't have to worry about that. Kuutar, it means, it's a Finnish word, it means the goddess of the moon or the lady of the moon, and it's part of like the Finnish mythology, the folklore. So I wanted to, I really like the name, so I wanted to use it for a design. And the Kuutar Pullover, it's knitted top down. You start at the neckband. You can also fold the neckband if you want, if you don't want to have kind of like this longer neck, so you can also fold it. I like it as it is, like this. And then you have the lace pattern over the yoke. After that you do a bit of short rows to shape the back, so the back is slightly longer than the front, and then everything else is knitted in the round. There's also a bit of lace here at the cuffs. And this is one of my personal favorites. Every time somebody asks me what is like my favorite design from everything I have designed over the years. So I've been designing for over 10 years now. I used to have a blog back in the day, and I shared some of my first patterns for free on the blog, and then I started sending a lot of submissions to knitting magazines. Some of them got picked to be featured in the magazines, a lot of them didn't make it, but I was very persistent, and then I was found by a Finnish yarn company. They asked me to interview for an in-house knitwear designer position, and I worked there for 2 years, and the past 5 years I've been an independent designer working on my own stuff and living my best life. So this is the best thing I have ever done, and I'm really happy with what I'm doing. So the Kuutar Pullover was one of the first designs that I released after I quit my job at the yarn company and became an independent designer. And that's one of the reasons why it has such a special place in my heart. I remember it was very scary to quit my day job and start working on my own. Of course, I was afraid of like if I can make all the ends meet and staying relevant and being able to put out great patterns. And I think this was for me one of those patterns that showed me that this is actually something I can do, and I can actually create beautiful things. And I've talked about the Kuutar Pullover also quite a many times. I think I also talked about it in last year's advent calendar, that I was in a very bad place. In my life, when I started knitting it, I was on the brink of a burnout. I was really tired and struggling, and it was the holiday between Christmas and New Year's Eve, and I was so tired that I barely could lift my hands, and I was just like lying on the sofa, and I had totally lost my knitting mojo. I didn't really feel like knitting or creating anything. I felt so drained. And then I cast it on this sweater, and this was like one of those magic moments when I just like felt the whole yoke just like flying off my needles, and I just remember stopping and looking and petting the yoke and feeling how beautiful it was. And it was something that really started the healing journey for me, so it was very meaningful, and it's still very, very meaningful for me, and it's going to be one of those patterns that are going to stay really close to my heart. And it's also, I think, if I were to ask to kind of like describe my aesthetics and my style, knitting style, I think this sweater is something that I would definitely want to feature in that. It's very classic. I don't think it's something that really goes out of style. It's at the same time, it's very wearable, but it feels like a piece of art in a way. It's almost like you have a jewelry on, and that's something that I really like to create. I want to create things that are both very wearable but also really fun to knit. So I would really want you to enjoy the knitting process, but then again also feel like you want to wear what you made. So I think this kind of like ticks all the boxes. I've been wearing this a lot. It's slightly, it has kind of like stretched out a bit. You can see it's slightly oversized on me, but I really love it as it is. And here's the second one. So this was not knitted by me, it was knitted by my sample knitter, and it's with Tuku wool fingering, as well as I think it was Isager's silk mohair. And you can see how it looks like here. So every time you do something in white, it immediately looks very, very classy, and I really love the look of this sweater as well. And here you can see the pattern on the cuffs. It's beautiful. And twisted rib is always, I think it always looks very sophisticated and polished when you do a bit of twisted rib. So this is the Kuutar Pullover, and it's today's featured advent calendar countdown pattern. And like I said, you can get the Kuutar Pullover as well as all the other Kuutar designs with a 24% discount. Use the code Kuutar, and the code is valid until tomorrow. And tomorrow I will come back with the next pattern. I can't wait to show you what it is.